Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Trust everyone watching this as well. Okay, so we'll just be jumping into the topic at hand, which will be the very first school of law in Islam. Okay, so we'll be discussing the Hanafiyya school. Okay, or also known as the Hanafi school, and it is actually one of the four major Sunni Islamic schools of fiqh. It was founded by Imam Abu Hanifa and is actually the oldest out of the four of the Sunni madhabs, which is basically the school of thought. And the Hanafi school is also known for its emphasis on reason, analogy, as well as juridical preferences and the deriving legal rulings overall in Islam. Okay, and it's also noted that Imam Abu Hanifa did not compose or write any of the books on law himself, but his numerous discussions and opinions are recorded by his disciples from the basis of his school. So he never ever wrote or did anything himself. It was more like everyone else documenting it. Okay, and as a theologist and a religious lawyer, Abu Hanifa exercised considerable influence in his time. His legal thought is very consistent and uses high degree of reasoning, as well as avoiding extremes, and lays great emphasis on the ideas of the Muslim community itself. The Ahmadi Muslims generally followed the Hanafi school of law, also to keep in mind. And other areas in which the school has a following include Turkey and the countries of Fertile Crescent, or even Lower Egypt, as well as India, believe it or not. Let me just actually load up the other notes, because I did have a couple over here. Oh, there we go. So I do have three key features of the Hanafi school itself, as well as the sources of law that the Hanafi school relies on. So just to jump into the key features, right? It emphasizes on reason and analogy. Like I mentioned, the Hanafi school itself places strong importance on rational deduction as well as analogical reasoning to interpret Islamic law, Sharia law. And then the second one being the use of juridical preferences. And this basically allows the jurors to prioritize public welfare over strict legal interpretations in specific scenarios and circumstances. Okay, and then lastly, we've got the flexibility in legal rulings. Now, what does that mean? It basically means to, like, compared to other schools, the Hanafi big word, hold up, jurisprudence. Oh, there we go. Oh my soul, that's a mouthful. What? Hanafi jurisprudence is often seen as more adaptable to new circumstances, So basically, in a nutshell, what the key features of the Hanafi school relies on. But now to discuss the sources of law itself in the Hanafi school, okay? So obviously, the main one being the Holy Quran, and then secondly, the Sunnah, which is hadiths. And then thirdly, we've got the Ijma, which is the consensus of scholars. Fourthly, we've got analogy itself, and then fifth, we got juridical preference. Sixth, we've got the customary practices of the time, of the community, things of that nature. And then lastly, we've got the broad and overall influence of everyone else. So it is a dominant school in, like I mentioned, Turkey, but there's also additional places like the Balkans, Central Asia, South Asia, for example, not just India, but Pakistan itself, as well as Bangladesh, and parts of the Middle East, of course. So in a nutshell, the Hanafi school has had a lasting impact on the overall Islamic ruling itself, and continues to widely be followed till this very present day. This was the notes were coming through today. Proud of myself for this one. But yeah, guys, that was to discuss the very first school of law, Hanafiyya school. Okay, I trust that this one was very beneficial. Like I mentioned, there'll be separate videos discussing the alternative and remaining Islamic schools of law. Okay, but until the next video, trust everyone enjoys the rest of your day, and please be safe. Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.